Welcome to Top of the Line. This is the podcast version of our YouTube show. New episodes every Monday and Friday where we talk about audio and hi-fi related themes.
If you have any requests for a future episode, send us an email, totl@abyssheadphones.com.
So this is a rather popular topic. Can Bluetooth be hi-fi? You see a lot of Bluetooth headphones and a lot of discussion around whether or not they sound any good. But from our perspective, can it work? Can you have a wireless headphone that actually sounds good?
Well, if you talk to any of the old school guys in this, compared to like a wired connection, they're going to tell you there's no freaking way a Bluetooth can compare to wired. I mean, that's kind of still the case. But Bluetooth has caught up an awful lot compared to where it was back in the day when people are thinking about, these little square things that they were connecting with Bluetooth versus, these $10, $20 boxes versus now Bluetooth is so integrated into just about everything that's made now for audio that, and the codecs that are available are way, way more capable than the original Bluetooth was.
Over the last few years, it certainly has evolved to the point where you could make Bluetooth work for high-end audio, but there's a few limitations there. I think the biggest thing people tend to underestimate is the limitations of the DAC itself and the amp, not the actual audio transmission, because Bluetooth only typically more or less refers to the wireless nature of the product, but roped in with that tends to mean that you have to have this digital analog conversion in the headphone or on device, and you need to have a amp in your headphone or on a device. And of course, when you're comparing it to like a large desktop full-size solution, totally different class. We talked about things like this before, but
yeah,
a dedicated video probably isn't unreasonable.
And separates, that's why people go with separates is, technology changes, you yank one part of the system out, you replace it. You don't shit can the one box and start over again.
Well, you could. Yeah. But that is kind of the whole thing with Bluetooth is it's a one box solution essentially. Usually everything built into the headphone.
Yeah, in the case of a Bluetooth headphone.
It's made for ease of use.
Yeah, but now I'm even thinking like now you see commonly Bluetooth transmits and receives. It goes both ways on a device. So you could have your phone with your music in it or whatever, or player, and it'll be sending Bluetooth, but it doesn't have to go right to the headphone. The amp could have a Bluetooth receiver in it, takes it, and now you hardwire your headphone into that amp. And that Bluetooth receiver on that amp could be far better than the Bluetooth receiver that would have been in just a typical Bluetooth headphone, you know what I mean? So in other words, you have upgrade paths for Bluetooth now. It's not just, it's in the headphone and that's it. And so you got two pieces, the headphone or whatever's transmitting. You can have in-betweens that basically bump up the quality, you know?
I think the biggest thing with Bluetooth right now is how confusing it can get with all the different codecs, and not everybody's running the same stuff, and compatibility between headphones and DAPs and stuff.
It's confusing.
Yeah. You got to really look at it.
There's a huge range.
Yeah.
Unlike a wire where you plug it in and
you know what you got.
It pretty much is going to work just fine.
Yeah.
As long as your amp or whatever you're hooking up to has enough power to power your device, it's probably going to be pretty good. With Bluetooth, you could get compatibility issues. You could have issues where it doesn't quite work the way you expect, or it doesn't work how it's advertised on the box. It could say it's compatible with a particular streaming codec, but it may not actually be operating at that for various reasons. And as a result, you could get inconsistencies in performance. And on top of that, there's different quality, more or less, of devices. Sometimes you'll have issues with products that are poorly designed and barely meet the spec and can have problems with buffering or skipping or not running at the advertised maximum bit rates. And so in those cases, Bluetooth can be very problematic. But when it's well implemented, it could be virtually seamless and more or less indistinguishable from a wired connection.
But those are glitches. Like you think about Bluetooth. I mean, range is an issue.
Right.
Usually it's like 30 feet or something like that. You can go longer, but then you're asking for it. Some things don't make it past 10 and they don't work anymore. So that's part of the inconsistency in the the lower end of things. But I think today's better engineered electronics that happen to have Bluetooth built in as an option instead of a wired connection, or either way, either as an input or an output, I think they're getting better at it. Things like things like what IFI has created, like with the
XTSD is pretty good.
Yeah, or these X cans here. They're $300 devices, and they've taken the Bluetooth beyond just a single chipset. Kind of like when we did the DAC video, just a video or two back. We were saying, you can make a DAC and a dongle with one chip, and it's a DAC. Yeah, it'll convert the digital to analog, and you'll hear sound.
Yeah.
But then when you look at a real DAC, like isn't a real DAC, it's boards and boards of electronics to do the same job. Yeah. Obviously, at a little much higher level, and it's that scaling that's going on in Bluetooth that's, I think, really bringing it up to a level where it's more than acceptable compared to like a wired device. It's easily accepted.
Well, the newest Bluetooth stuff, the range is definitely a lot better than it used to be.
Yeah.
Because I know you can like literally put your phone down in one room and then walk anywhere in the house now with like Bluetooth headphones, and they work.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, they got the receiver and transmitter down. They figured out where to put the antennas.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure antenna design's big.
Totally. Yeah.
A lot of products, if you have your phone in your back pocket, it could be a problem. And it'll drop out simply because of that.
Yeah.
Like you more or less have to have
You're
your
shielding
phone in
it with
your
your
front pocket.
body.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which were mostly water.
Yeah.
These
mostly
inconsistencies,
bags of water.
I think this is a big reason why Bluetooth kind of gets a bad name in some occasions, because there are devices and examples where Bluetooth doesn't work well. But it's not really a technology issue per se, it's an implementation issue. And these are pretty much eliminated with a wire. But that's not to say that Bluetooth is bad. It can be great, can work very well. But of course, it seems likely as we move forward, as the technology matures, you'll see more and more devices that work seamlessly, because we're getting there. For the most part, newer devices work without an issue, and they sound great. And the DACs and the amps that are built into these products continue to improve at a pretty good rate.
And the bandwidth, with the codecs involved, we'll have thrown up on the screen what these are, but you could look at the bandwidth, the rates capable, and they're pretty much at CD level at this point for Bluetooth. You're approaching a megabit a second, which is pretty good quality audio for wireless.
And it will only get better.
Yeah, right.
Like every new version, they like double bandwidth usually.
Yeah.
So
it's just really it's more at that point. It's kind of like 1080p, 2K, 4K, 8K. Right. At that point, it's really about the implementation of it.
Yeah.
Every time they make a leap in a technology, it tends to take time for the refinement to follow the leap. It's okay, it's new, but is it better?
Yeah.
Type thing. And
someone said something like that once. It's like the last of old technology is always better.
Yeah,
than
totally.
The newest hotness.
Yeah,
it usually is.
They tend to smoothen things out a bit. It doesn't look as,
You got to wait years oftentimes for new stuff to work seamlessly on multiple devices. Usually there's only maybe one device that it works really well on, and there's a lot of edge cases where it just doesn't really perform.
Yeah. And that's too bad, because that getting that tech out there before it's done kind of ruins the experience.
It does.
It turns people off before where it could have been fantastic. And I think there are companies who are better at that, providing the experience up front and waiting and providing experience than just throwing it out there and seeing what sticks type thing, and it's two ways of looking at it.
You want to get out there first with worse implementation.
Yeah, right.
Or wait, have it mature, come out with a polished product.
The bottom line seems to be there is no intrinsic reason why wireless has to be bad. And there certainly are cases where it's good. It works just fine. Really no downside to it being wireless. And the convenience obviously is very good. So if you value that, if you want it to be wireless, there are things you could do to get good performance in wireless. And it's improving at a pretty good rate, so it seems likely that that's the future going forward, because people value convenience.
Yeah.
So especially on the lower end gear, it's going to be very, very prevalent. And the high range, I think it's still going to be quite a while before we see that, just because of the other issues we stated. So the physical size, space constraints, power consumption requirements, and whatnot for high-end desktop class amplification and DACs. that's really troubling. It's going to be quite some time before we see that level integrated.
And the biggest reason is because you need separates for that. You're not going to build an amplifier of great capability in the side of a headphone.
It's going to be very difficult.
It'd be a heavy goddamn headphone, first of all, right? Just way too heavy.
Yeah.
The battery would be just huge. And let's say even if you did have to plug in your headphone, that's almost silly to have a power cord going in your headphone along with it. Yeah. So at some point, it just kind of makes sense that if you're home, and
definitely mobile.
And you have
Bluetooth
power.
Makes sense. But at home,
to connect your amplification, to connect your electronics to a wall outlet, and
it eliminates those issues. The bottlenecks.
Yeah, you've got relatively unlimited power to do what you want to do.
For headphone.
Yeah, for headphone
for
use.
headphone.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you're not going to power the planet with the Krell on it, with with all those meters going.
No, probably not.
No, it ain't going to go quite that far. Although we did that on one of our videos, didn't we? We talked about that. What was it? We put it up in one of our videos.
Yeah, it was like the unobtainium video.
Yeah, we were going to
the dream system.
Yeah, a dream system. We're going to create a building just for two amplifiers, two buildings. Yeah. That'd be cool. And a really heavy cable coming out of each one going to
oh boy
to your chair.
Right. So that's the dream, having that implemented in a small, portable, lightweight thing that you could jam into a headphone. But it's not the reality right now, and I think it's going to be some time before that happens. However, I really don't see an intrinsic reason that wireless or Bluetooth is a limitation. It is right now, but it doesn't have to be. So, is Bluetooth HiFi?
It's getting there.
Yeah, it's getting there. It's pretty close.
Kind of.
But I think there's a whole different thing, though, that people in the higher end like to have separate things and move things around, and they don't want like an all-in-one in a headphone, can't change it kind of thing.
Right.
They want separate boxes.
There's fun to upgrading.
Yeah, right.
There's fun to be able to take it to another level, whereas you can't do that with an all-in-one device. It's just it's all or none.
I mean, there's people that want all-in-one for
you know?
simplicity's sake, obviously, but there's also a lot of people that don't want that.
I mean, some things can be combined. Like, we had really DCS had really great success with their bar talk, where they integrated a really good quality headphone amp into the DAC, and others have too. We're just stating the fact that so far has been our favorite in terms of the implementation of it, and it's kind of the same with Bluetooth. It's really about the tech's there. It's about the implementation of it. How far can you take the tech to meet the needs of the hi-fi enthusiast? It's getting there.
Maybe with some time.
Yeah.
We'll see, I suppose.
Yeah. But I'm hopeful of it. It's looking good.
I guess we weren't really rambling this time. Well, I guess doing this topic the second time around made it more concise. Kind of knew where we were going with it. And if you have any questions for any future videos, you can email us at totl@bizheadphones.com. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video, and thanks for watching.
Thanks, everyone.